Sam, we have another arc review this session. I just couldn't help but cover Akane-banashi.
Oh yeah, Akane-banashi.
It's something I had my eye on for a while. Of like, if when I get back to Shonen Jump, I need to catch up with this one because, as many people know, or had known in the past when I used to make anime YouTube videos, Descending Stories, Shogun Roku Rakugo Shinju, was probably at the time my favorite anime. I don't know where it stands now. I haven't reconsidered that list in a while. But it's a manga I love too. One of my favorite mangas about Rakugo. So I'm very familiar with that story, manga story kind of genre now. This kind of Banashi is a shonen take on. This is a much more like a kind of seinen, more adult kind of look, more mature look at the world, the underbelly. So what does a shonen take on Rakugo
exactly
look like? It's a crazy kind of pitch, but I got to tell you, like, I loved this first arc of Akane-banashi. I am head over heels for it. Something about Rakugo, clearly I enjoy. I enjoy the history of it, the craft of it, the nuances that they really like to get into in a classic shonen style. But these characters are so fun. Akane is a top tier protagonist, probably one of the best in the magazine right now. And the drama, it's so funny. I was chuckling at myself reading the first few chapters where they get into the backstory of what is driving Akane's Rakugo journey.
Yeah,
right?
so let's.
I just want to. It's literally. But it's literally the same as what's the gosh, I'm sorry, what's the manga we just talked about?
Kagurabashi.
It's literally the same as Kagurabashi. Like, her dad isn't killed, he's expelled from a Rakugo school, and she is trained by the mentor of her father, who then she's going to get revenge and become the greatest Rakugoka in the world or whatever. Like, it's literally like the classic exact same father killed revenge story as we just experienced in a violent war one, typical. And then, no, we're doing it now, but in Rakugo terms. So her father is expelled from the Rakugo school. It's kind of the part of the backstory. Akane grew up adoring and worshiping her father's Rakugo. So couldn't understand this betrayal. He had to get a normie job, afterwards.
He's like a construction trainer or something like that.
Something like that, just complete normie. He might as well be dead, because at least in this first arc, he's always at work. You just don't see him anymore. It really feels like he died almost. Where you see a lot of him in this kind of backstory section where he's really struggling for his art, for his craft, and trying to make it.
I think he said he was a Rakugo for 10 years, I think,
yeah,
before he gets expelled.
It's a decade, yeah.
So it's pretty heavy. And in fact, the first chapter is kind of a lot from his perspective, which is kind of fun and exciting. Akane is like a child and almost in the background. And it's not until the end of the first chapter where we kind of see that it's actually going to be her story of again, revenge and trying to prove that her dad's Rakugo was worth something. And she's by doing that, she needs to become the Shinichi, which in Rakugo terms is basically the pinnacle of like in Kagurabashi, the pinnacle of what you can achieve as a Rakugoka.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, so basically, she starts training under Shiguma Arakawa in the Arakawa school. And Isho Arakawa is who expelled her dad. One of the kind of elite four Arakawa members. So she's under Shiguma. She's getting informal training throughout elementary school and junior high, and it's not until we pick up in her she's 17, I think, is where we pick up the start of the actual story.
Now her father's special power, let's just say,
her Rakugo power,
and she inherits his is all about character work, right? Mm-hmm. What he's really zeroes in on embodying the characters in each Raku story. And if you don't know, which it's hard, it's hard, you got to know a little bit of Raku, I guess, going into this. But like these are like for the most part, like hundreds of years old traditional stories passed down through all these performers, all the way down to today. And so there's an expectation of how they move with the plot, the characters, how you know the pacing, everything is. I mean, it's been so minutely analyzed. It's like how we do Shakespeare almost, you know.
Yes,
like,
very
like,
similar.
Yeah.
It's very, very similar.
So it's like really intense, how they can kind of pick apart people's Rakugo, and so it gets into it. Like the father is doing the story, and he like changes, cuts out a part of the story, and maybe makes a change here and there, and whatnot, it's going really well. The crowd's laughing, but then the guy just goes up and says, "You're expelled. Get out of here," and you don't know exactly why. And one of the reasons Akane wants to be a Rakugoka and be a professional is she wants to confront this man and explain to me why my father didn't get promoted. You ruined his life, you know. So that kind of nuance, her power is also like that, at least so far, is she has a really good talent with character work. So that's like volume one. That's like volume one, right? Of like the backstory, and then her kind of getting her feet wet, getting started, kind of getting accepted to be like a real student.
Yeah, so because at this point in the story, she is not even a Zenza. She's not even a Rakugo apprentice.
She's just a daughter of a former Rakugoka. Yeah. So the father's master was Shiguma Arakawa, and he, I guess, doesn't have a lot of power. Isho's like the main guy.
Isho's basically is at the absolute top of the school, and then there's Shiguma, and then there's two other Shinichis at the school that are at the same level.
Yeah, so Shiguma is definitely like a little more gentle than Isho, but he's like devastated by this expulsion and vows to never take on another student, which is immediately reversed when Akane shows up. And it's revealed that Akane's been secretly taking informal lessons for Rakugo with Shiguma as she was growing up. So it's nice because it's like she starts the story with a pretty high power level, you know, like
definitely
right off the bat.
Yeah, well, it's funny because it's like she kind of it's interesting because she kind of does and she kind of doesn't, which kind of takes us to which, by the way, we should have said this at the top. We are covering up to the end of the Karaku Cup, which is basically the first major tournament, so to say, that Akane participates in. And
it's like chapter 34,
and it's essentially the prologue of the story. Is that first 34 chapters.
Now I gotta say, this series reads so easy and fast, and it's just a joy and breeze to read through.
I wanted to comment because when you first messaged me that you started Akane-banashi, I was like, dude, yes, I'm so excited to talk about the series. I love it. It's so great, and I knew you would love it too. And I was like, let me know when you get to chapter like 34, and we'll do an arc review. And you got to me like a day later. Like you did it.
So what do I like? Well,
what do you like about it? What do you like about it?
So, and to move a little broader, I guess, like the nuance of this stuff is really, really fascinating. There's a particular and the Karaku Cup is a great showcase of this because you get all these other amateurs. You know, she's so good, she might as well be professional. And then you have the other students that are above her.
Yeah, so there's two students in the Karaku Cup that we need to talk about. There's Hikaru, who basically we get introduced to as she's basically like an actress, like an actual actress, that is doing.
These are the amateurs.
Yeah, these are the amateurs. Yeah. She's an actress, but who's doing this school
Seiyu,
event. Because Seiyu, exactly. Thank you. Yes, your voice actor. And the Karaku Cup, by the way, is specifically a amateur Rakugo event for high schoolers that is being judged.
No, it's not. It's actually mostly college students. It's weird that Akane's there as a high schooler. It's actually like she's so advanced that like it's just for amateurs. I'm sure high schoolers can, but like it's weird to see a high schooler make it beyond the college students. Yeah.
doing that. And so yeah, we have a Seiyu who's like, they're like, yeah, this, she's got experience through doing acting work, so she's coming in with some chops. And then the other sort of hot, exciting guy is Karashi, who basically is like, these stories are old and cringe. I'm gonna redo them up so they're more modern.
I'm gonna add memes to them.
Yeah, I'm gonna add 6-7.
Yes, yeah. I'm gonna add 6-7, and that'll make everyone laugh. So they're the Karaku Cup, and then you have like the students that in the Shiguma school, that are above and training Akane. I think we meet 3 of them pretty.
Yeah, so we meet Kyoji, who is
love Kyoji.
Kyoji's great and is very and has a great interesting relationship with Akane, because unlike the rest of the students in the school, he only knew her dad for like a couple months. Like, he started as a Zenza, he took his promotion like 3 or 4 months later, so he only has like a few weeks of experience with her father. And then we're introduced to Guriko, Koguma, and then
so Kyoji's special talent is playing it serious. So his comedy works in the Rakugos because these are wacky, kind of outlandish stories sometimes, and he plays it so straight, so intensely, and that's his like special power. And I like how everyone gets one, like,
yes,
that's part of the fun, I think, of this. So who are you gonna list next?
I was gonna list, and then there's Koguma, which is basically, he's the shy one with the kind of the glasses and the hair over his head.
Love this guy. I love Koguma. He's my favorite so far because his history. Bookworm.
Yep, he's the bookworm. The study.
I need to know the social and historical context of the Rakugo. I need to look at the etymology of certain word choices and the life of the original creator of the story. Like, and that's going to inform my performance. Like that, I was drooling over his explanation of that. And how he's reading. I need books on this era, and I need to know how people lived back then, so that I can really get into the world building and build that through my. I was obsessed with that. Yeah,
it is great. And then Guriko is basically the other student we're introduced to at the time. There is another student who is kind of this is a shonen trope I love. Like, hashtag shonen tropes we love. The super elite, awesome based ally who we cannot have this early on in the story. So they're in Africa, they're in Europe, they're off on business. They're injured, Kiyoshi from fucking Kuroko no Basket is injured for the first quarter of the series. Love it.
Yes.
Love it.
Guriko's like, he's just kind of like there for the audience most part. I feel like he doesn't perform too much, but he's kind of a goofball. Like,
yeah,
he's definitely just like a very charismatic, affable guy, and I think that's what kind of gives him his prowess. But he's also just like, he's kind of narrates the story.
Yeah, and also I do think we may have Guriko and Kyoji swept, because I remember correctly, Kyoji is the more like, we don't really see too much Rakugo from him specifically, and Guriko's the more serious one.
We're good.
Oh, we're good. Okay, good, perfect.
Yeah, Kyoji takes on the role of teaching Akane.
Yeah,
but Garuki's like always just like there in the back, explaining to the audience what's happening, or explaining to the guidance counselor, or which we'll get to, or the reporters or whatnot. So I believe we have that right. But it's just fun to hear kind of these styles, and how Akane's really a fast learner. She's a sponge. She's obsessed with Rakugo. She loves Rakugo. She already has this innate talent and learned from her father, but she is really good at picking up on other things. And what's nice, though, Shiguma knows this about her. And so he sends her out to do a few like opening acts for Kyoji and these other people. It gets her some practice. She had never done it in front of an audience before. And to be honest, her stuff goes pretty good. Like, she's really good already at it compared to what you'd expect. She's pretty funny. But when Karaku Cup comes up, which I'm gonna say
the Karaku Cup, yeah.
Karaku Cup comes up. It's kind of almost like shameful for her to because you're not allowed to be a professional, and she's technically not a professional until she graduates from high school. Professionals should not be entering this.
And there's this, and I want to touch on this because there's this amazing feeling you get when you read this arc, because it's established from the first chapter. We saw fucking Isho literally obliterate a guy's decade-old career in like a single sentence. And also, by the way, he expelled 6 people from the school that day. It was not just Akane's dad. So it was a crazy cleaning house situation,
like a news story,
a huge, national news story beyond Rakugo, just in general. Crazy shit. So everyone, he's basically hosting this and is like providing feedback, and everyone is like, dude, this guy is gonna light these kids up.
He's like the Simon Cowell,
yes,
of these
Rakugo judges,
world.
And they're gonna light these kids up, and then it's revealed when he gives the first speech that actually he's being pretty chill. He's actually being pretty cool.
He's being very encouraging
because and it's established that I think maybe one of the news reporter guys. So I love that duo, by the way.
Yes, the news duo. I love them. I can't wait to see more of them.
They're great. The guy especially is like is really great, and he's awesome at explaining everything. And his assistant,
the girl doesn't know anything.
Doesn't know shit.
She's on the beat.
She's you, the reader who doesn't know anything about Rakugo,
but appreciates it in the abstract.
Exactly, it's perfect. So someone says this like, yeah, like. The other guys are like, dude, you cannot, like, this, we can't have another scene, like, don't fucking like these kids up. And you're just reading story after story, and you're like, oh man, he's really gonna like that, like Karashi. You're like, oh dude, he's gonna light this kid up for putting 6-7 in this fucking Rakugo, and he doesn't do it. Like, oh, like he's gonna, really get into fucking, he's gonna really give it to Hikaru for her overacting in the Rakugo, and he doesn't do it. And he's like, oh man. And then we get to Akane, and of course Akane, by the way, the other part of the tournament that we should go over is Shiguma's basically like, if you're gonna do this, you gotta win, and you gotta win with Jugumu. And if there's any Rakugo story we all know, it's Jugumu.
I've seen the bloopers of Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
We've seen the ending of Joshiraku.
It's also in this too. They do Jugumu in this as well, which is the one Rakugo we know enough, because I'm not an expert on Rakugo either. Is to go over briefly, the concept is their premise. So a father had just had a new child. He's going to do the naming ceremony with the local priest, and they have it scheduled, and he goes there, and the priest is giving them options. And naming a child is pretty important, obviously, back then. And what names all have different meanings, right? And we don't even think about them as much. And I'm sure they do think about it more in Japan, but even in English, this is a thing. Like, there's an etymology to these things where something means trustworthy or
good
kind,
fortune
or good fortune or long life or whatever. So the priest gives the father a list of all these different great names he could give his new son, and the father goes like, "Great, I'll take them all." And so and you might have. So I'll end after this. Like, the rest of the story is like kind of funny scenarios where you would normally say a child's name casually, offhandedly, and the complete commitment to say the entirety of the 40 names or whatever they ended up giving the kid. And it's so that the joke is always, the punchline is pretty much the same. It's the long name, right? Which is like baby's first. It's like, how I think about it is, let's say this is a piano manga, like, and the Beethoven prodigy kid is about to compete.
It's star of Beethoven.
And it's like, okay, you have to win, but you can only do Twinkle Twinkle Little Star.
Yes, exactly. Yes, like, great comparison.
So that's like where we're at. Like, this is a kid's first Rakugo. It's very silly. It's very childish. Akane has to do it kind of one hand tied behind her back kind of thing, because she is better than these people. She's light years better. But there's nuance to this, because it's like, okay, I could still lose easily, because this one could seem kind of disrespectful doing Jugemu here. Two, everyone's heard it before. They're not gonna laugh. Like, even regular, just
exactly,
normies
kids
know this. Yeah, like normies know this one, and And 3, like, how is this, the judges are supposed to actually rate this well? So there's like this 3-thing dilemma that she has going into this, and I just I love the journey she goes on. One, Koguma gives the advice of now she's studying the origins of the story and what these names actually mean. What do all the names mean? And oh, you know what? Back then, children died pretty quickly.
Yeah.
They did not make it to adulthood almost ever. So like these names they really these parents put their heart and souls into these names, and the good fortune that comes from them because they wanted their child to live. So
yeah.
So she adds maybe a desperation to like some of the characters of like, and this love and unconditional hope in their child's health and well-being. So she's added this kind of mature depth to it. But one thing I love too is she learns from, I think is it Kyoji or Guruko? She learns you have to read the room as well. What is the room one?
I think it's Guriko. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, so you need to read the room. You're not performing for yourself and to show off how good you are. You're performing to meet the audience where they are. And she learns this by going, I think, to like a senior center at one point and meets those older folks. It gives a story that they would appreciate and performs in that way. What would this room prefer? Oh, there's 2 rounds. That's right. So she does the first round, the qualifying round. She hides some of her cards because she's been thinking about this story a lot, how to do it. But the first round, she's like, I have to save it. I have to blow them away because Isho's not there the first round.
Yeah.
He only comes for the final round. So just to qualify, she's just going to show off her technical skill and say Juge Mujugumu, Paipo, good and die. It's as fast as possible.
It's done. I unfortunately, unlike when we did Kagurabachi, I don't have Akane-banashi physically, so I'm not pulling up the volumes. I love the paneling though in that scene where she does it in one, because it's the way they show it is, she does it in one breath. She does not take a breath. They do a great
job. They do a great job because it's hard to do this, right? With no audio. They do a great job of like drawing the story. Oh, they just do a manga of the rakugo that's being performed. And then cutting back to then the performer, and so you really get engrossed into the performances here. They're done very well. They definitely owe a lot to this because they do it really well in here too, of doing the actual rakugo. But so like that's impressive. She coasts through the first round just because she's clearly so technically proficient at it. She's better. She's at least the 8th best because 8 people move on of everyone here. Like that, she blew everyone away just in the first one in the audience, the normies, just a sure like speed and technical prowess. So that was fun. But then it's like, oh, she's hiding something. And the amateurs don't even know it. There's a lot of like. It's so funny. So the Seiyu character, what's her name?
Hikaru.
Her name? She in the English translation, and I get what they're going for. She's given like a southern accent in her private moments or in her thoughts because she's not this demure, beautiful, prestigious, popular, famous Seiyu, rich. Like she presents herself, oh, hello, darling. Oh, my dear fans. And then she's in the back. She's like, y'all don't understand. Like she's country hick. Like real, so like there's a lot of fun kind of behind the scenes of the other guy too, the
Karashi,
the 6'7" guy, where he's like he's like a drag queen, drama queen. Like I love him.
Yeah, so his gimmick is that he's kind of like a savant. He's just good at anything he touches, and because of that, he basically conquers the thing and then like throws it away. He's like, okay, I'm good. I did this at a high level. I'm done with this. Like it moves on to the next thing.
And they're both pretty good at it. Like we see the performances in the final round. It's pretty much up to these 3. They kind of line in on Akane,
Karashi, and Hikaru. Yeah,
Karashi and Hikaru. They're the best ones, and they're all pretty good. We see Hikaru first, and no, we don't. We see Karashi first. He does his 6'7" version of a rakugo. Then we see Hikaru, who does a very dramatic, theatrical version, because that's her skill set. Her skill set is the acting. So she really sells the emotions of the story, and people almost cry at it. Like, it's not just funny. It's actually really moving to a lot of people. So and they're giving their all. They're going so intensely hard. Oh my gosh, the crowd is like erupting, and you know what? The guy Isho, a lot of nice things to say.
Oh yeah,
right?
no, like so, like Isho, it's like really funny because when he's going up against Karashi, he's like, yeah, I gotta be honest, Chief. This was not for me. But also, I also heard the crowd and everyone else here, and it's clear like you have a like you have you do have an understanding of like the stories and what people want.
How to be an entertainer,
exactly. Yeah. And there's value in that. And the same thing, he's like there's elements of he's like, you're not really using the medium of Rakugo to push the story, but what you are using is your talents, and your talents are extremely incredible. And then we get to Akane. So how does Akane present Jugimu? How does she drop all her cards?
Yeah. So one thing gosh, I love this. She's chill. That's like the best thing about this. She, after these intense, emotional, giving their all performances, the crowd's clearly exhausted. Clearly, they're drained a bit. They're ready to kind of check out. Okay, it's one of these two. And it kind of comes in and just tells the story and slowly drags them in and has a command of the room that, okay, so like, there's a nuance here that I really appreciate, and I don't mean to compare Rakugo to stand up in a classical kind of trite way, right? Because that's kind of our version, right? Because it's not the same thing. But I remember I went and saw Bill Burr one year, like years ago, and they have the opener come up, and the opener's good, ha ha ha, great jokes. I remember the professional then walking out, and the room, like, just relieved. Like we didn't even have to worry about rooting for somebody because he had such a command over his moves that you're just in it. And I remember feeling that. Like it was very, you don't get this from Netflix. Everyone's a critic when it comes to stand-up. I'm sure everyone has their favorite and what, but when you're in the room at one of these shows, you really feel like people who have that experience where like the audience can feel the nervousness. They can feel someone giving their all and they want to applaud and they're amazed by great effort. What Akane does is like, relax, enjoy the show. I'm going to tell Jugemu in its entirety. We're going to actually sit with the plot beats and what they meant in the moment to the mother saying to Jugemu, oh, don't get hurt, don't get bullied at school, what happened? Well, how would a mother actually feel in that moment? And we get to kind of relate empathetically to that mother's kind of feeling there. She does a great job slowing down her pace and meeting the room. So then I love it, just get lost in the details of the story. They see the world. There's a great panel. I wish we had the physical.
Because it gets to a point where it's like 3 to 4 pages of just the story.
Just the story. And you're seeing kind of just the reality of the world invade the like what they're seeing in the audience on the stage. Akane's blended into the background, and the story took center stage instead of the other two where they put themselves in center stage, and they were impressive and talented. But Akane has gone a step further by doing all the history research. She's able to ground this performance in a context that is believable and rich and detailed. And then by meeting the room with a more measured performance instead of the highly technical fast one she did the first time, people got engrossed in it like they weren't even at a competition anymore. They were just lost in the world of Jugemu, which is again Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Like it's all these, you're reading it for page after page after page. You're just I'm getting lost in it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is incredible. And I'm thinking back to when I went and saw Bill Burr or whoever. Like, you could put whatever name there of like, oh, that sigh of relief. Like, oh, there's no social like anxiety here anymore that the audience has to bear. And that's like death for performers usually. It's like if the second the audience gets nervous for you, you lost them. And Akane had just gotten to this level of like just a presence that I just like that so much. And I don't know if you're setting this up. So she does a great job. Obviously, blows everyone's mind.
Oh yeah,
and then Isho says,
it basically comes and it says like, "What are you doing here?" Like
I think he says, you don't belong here.
You know you don't belong here.
He's like a killer. Like, it's like he's been giving these fluffy, and let's be honest, he's lying.
Platitudes. He's lying through his teeth. Platitudes.
Because this is a guy who expelled like 6 like really, really like professionals, and then he breaks kayfabe for Akane and be like, you're not supposed to be here. And we didn't mention you don't just win the cup, you win a one-on-one chat with Isho. And that's why she wanted to win so bad. Yeah. Because she wanted to confront him about her father.
Let's pause on this point really quick, because I wanted to talk about this, because this arc is like, when we get this in Shonen, sometimes we get these kind of like do or die arcs. The whole setup of this arc, Tom, is if it wasn't going so well in the early and mid 20s, if the volume sales weren't picking up, we do this arc. She meets up with him. She gets the answers to, hey, why'd you kick my dad out of school? And we can end the series here. And that's if it was facing early cancellation. So this is kind of an arc, and that's kind of why the arc is set up like this.
Fantastic.
Well, the arc is great. The series was successful and has been successful. So it's a veteran series. See our State of the Union address. So that's why she gets that's a part of the reward for this, and why she sets out to do it.
So there was a nuance to this that was very impressive. That was it was even more than I thought. Really, I would get out of this for the like analysis of Rakugo, because there's some things in here that they do that even this doesn't quite get to, because this is a lot more interpersonal kind of drama of the people's lives.
Yeah, it's about the characters. Sordid affairs. Yeah,
and it's about our characters here too. But I just really enjoyed the like structure of a shonen, all the trappings of shonen, all the hits, but with this subject matter. I know it's like this is a very popular series. We will be catching up with it and doing more arc reviews. But I really enjoy it. And we didn't even get, there's other characters we could talk about, but I know we're already at half an hour. Like that ending though, and the reason given to Akane about the father's expulsion is wonderful, because you know what? I might get into this actually right now.
Let's do it.
So it literally, I felt attacked by
it's one of these. It's literally the meme of the guy who puts the finger up and then puts it down.
That was me, because we see the father's performance in chapter 1, right? Yeah. Like right away that got him expelled, and you're reading it and you're like excited about it and you're hoping he passes. Obviously, you're already rooting for him because it's kind of focused on him. You want him to pass, and then you see it again here, and the reason and there's like banter before every single Rakugo performance, right?
It's like it's an opening prologue to the that sets up the story.
There's a vocab term that we should be saying, but I don't remember. They do mention it. And it is a little awkward when you read it in chapter 1. He doesn't quite nail the little banter jokes. It kind of feels like you ever try to say a joke in front of a crowd and doesn't quite land, and you're like, haha, and he's nervous. But he settles in and delivers a good performance, and you're like, that was great when you read chapter 1. And then now Isho's like that there. Once he messed up, once he had that weakness, and once he lacked that confidence, I could tell the crowd was rooting for him, which is what the crowd had just done to the other two at the cup. And you're like, I did that when I read chapter 1
exactly.
too.
I felt the same way.
And guess what? Akane's like, okay, not a hodo. Like, I understand. Like, she got that because she didn't do that at all with this one, and that was really interesting. That you leave, like, even though maybe he shouldn't have done that. I don't know. He has kind of his reasons. Like, Rakugo's not popular enough, so we need to make sure that everyone we graduate are the best of the best of the best.
Yeah, we're not fucking around with our.
Yeah, we're not fucking
and
around.
Also too, we should mention this earlier. This is super important. The Arakawa school is purely based on skill in a world of the Rakugo world, which is all the other schools are based on tradition. You don't become a Shinichi until you got 15, 20 years experience.
Yeah,
Arakawa says, fuck that. That's cringe. You should be about your skills as a performer is above all else.
Yeah, and people can, as long as you're there for 15 years, you're probably going to graduate almost automatically.
Exactly, yeah.
Right. That's a good point. Yeah, there's a unique school with a very unique kind of a headmaster, whatnot. That's one thing I like about this too. And think of Shonen Battle. I like the hierarchy and structure of this.
Yes, and we're gonna get into and this is what's funny is Tom, like we've been talking for over 30 minutes now. We talked so much about the start of the series, and dude, we have not even gotten into the part of the story that gets into the culture of actually being a Rakugoka.
Yeah,
what goes into that, the apprentice level, which is being a Zenza, and like everything that goes into that. And the politics and stuff in play.
Yeah, she's still a high schooler. She can't become one until she graduates. So this is like her last amateur thing she does.
Yeah, before she officially enters the true world. And we kind of learn through the setup. And they have a great little, and I don't want to spoil it for you, it's in chapter 36. They have an amazing metaphor to explain how to get to become a Shinichi and the steps and everything that goes into that.
I just like, and this is something that's, I would say, and to the chagrin of society, the society does not benefit from this. The idea of long-term mentorships in professional life is kind of going away. And again, this is a bad development, but like no one gets hired to be trained anymore. People don't stick around long enough in companies to then mentor others. Like everyone's kind of been alienated at their jobs. And you don't get this feeling of like training under a guided master of something. In most professions these days, when that used to be the case, people were like union workers and they were with a pension. They'd be at the Ford, whatever, for 50 years and they'd bring on apprentices. And I really like the whole idea of it. Of course, there's exploitative stuff there too. And I'm sure they don't shy away from like all the crazy stuff Zenza have to do to like get by.
Oh yeah, we get into that in the story.
But I just appreciate this kind of care about something bigger, which is whatever it is, the craft of engineering, Ford, whatever, or the craft of Rakugo, that there's a pride in it that they're passing down that just gives everything just a reason to be. And I've always liked that about this one, especially the Zenix stories. Like, this is a great series for that. You really get the sense of legacy, obviously that title, like, and passing the torch down from generation to generation, and like older people, the masters coming to terms with how things morph and change as they bring to somebody new. Like, there's just so much of that kind of history and depth and relationships and art, craft, that it just like endlessly can sink my teeth into that, even in like a Shonen Battle essentially series. And the art's great. It's so funny. The characters are all great. The expressive, the writing's just so, not only the writing's good, but it's just easy. It's easy to read. There's not a lot of clunkiness, even when there's like a big challenge here.
Yeah, exactly. Or like we're getting these full stories and it's like these big monologues essentially. Like it reads very easily, and I love the point you made, just about how smooth it is to read, because I was reflecting back, because I caught up on the series when it was in like the 140 or like 120s, actually, I think is when I caught up. Maybe the one, actually no, maybe like the 130s. I think that's right. The 130s is when I caught up, and it was so, I just remember like having some downtime at work and reading a few chapters, being like 11 o'clock at night, settling in with the iPad, reading like 8 or 9 chapters just before bed, and just so smooth to read. Not intense, light, hard, like it's, or the storytelling is really great and can be emotional, but like it's not an intense to read. It's very smooth. Great. I highly recommend it.
Yeah, this wasn't just like I liked it. It's like I felt fired up about manga again, like in a new way. Like it really just like put coals in the oven for me. Like I really loved it. I probably would have been way farther if I didn't know we were doing this.